welcome to a Coach Dave Academy lap guide from myself, Kieran Harrison. This week I'm going to be in the Honda Civic Type R for the Touring Car Challenge for week 12, and the track is Virginia International Raceway, VIR as everyone calls it. So without further ado, let's get into it. So that was the hot lap there. Now I'm going to drive around and do a slow lap where I'm going to try and explain everything about this track so you can help to drive as good a lap as possible yourself. So here we go. We're just starting here just before the second to last corner, coming down the hill. And normally this one I would just cut the corner just a little bit to try and set up the final corner to start a lap, just to get as good of a run as possible onto the straight. Yeah, this is a particularly complex track. It's very difficult to string a lap together, but it is one of my favourites for that exact reason. So here we are starting the lap. Approaching turn 1, you're looking for the 3 board on the left. I'm braking just momentarily before that, all the way down from 6th to 2nd, I believe. And then as you come through the corner, it can be tempting. You can get away with getting on the power quite early and running out wide, but I actually find it's faster if you just delay a second and then hold a tighter line on the exit. It seems to gain more time by cutting the track down rather than going a bit quicker around the outside. Then approaching turn 2, we want to just sort of stay car's width off the apex and braking just as the curb on the left ends, as you let the car drift over to the right, just to open up the next corner. Then you can take all of the curb on the left as you come through here, all of the curb on the exit. Approaching this corner, I don't really have a specific braking reference, but you can kind of see as the direct drive wheel, you can kind of see the tarmac goes a little bit darker just up ahead. That's roughly what I'm looking for to brake, just down from 3rd to 2nd. And then you want to take all of the curb on the left as much as possible just to set up the right. And then you're kind of balancing the throttle just to make sure you don't understeer, but also you don't want to stay too tight because you've got to try and open up the next corner as much as possible as well. So through here I'm taking a little bit of grass on the inside and then a little bit of this dirt on the exit just to widen the corner. You can get away with both without getting off track. So then coming out onto this sort of straight, it's certainly a flat out section, which is trying to trim the track as much as possible through here. So be gentle on the steering just to not scrub speed and try and take as short a line as possible. So all the way over the curb of this first part, Same for the next one, you can even dip 2 wheels behind it in the grass slightly. All the curb on the left, and then flat out through the right. You can do a small lift if you prefer, just so that you can straighten the car earlier. Then just as the tarmac goes dark again here, we want to drop to 5th. You can go 4th again if you prefer, makes it a bit easier, but 5th you can carry more speed. You just got to be careful not to run wide as I nearly did on the hot lap, because you're coming off camber on the exit, and the car naturally wants to run out away from you over the curb. And then we're approaching probably the most difficult corner on the track, certainly in a TCR. I'm braking just after the 2 board, but then it's all about trying to get it slowed down with enough brake pressure while also trying not to lose the rear, because the car desperately wants to let go. You got to try and let it run out wide all the way down to 1st gear. Then you can take as much or as little of this curb as possible. It doesn't matter as long as you prioritize the exit, because we're now onto a big uphill straight. So it's very important just to try and maximize that exit as much as possible. So yeah, again, just it's not a perfect straight, so just try and take as short a line as possible through it. No need to weave around left to right. And then we probably have the second most difficult corner on the track coming up immediately after the most difficult corner. So you can see the brake marker boards on the right start to appear here. I'm looking for the last one. I think it's an arrow after the number 1. So I'm turning in and braking hard just after that point, all the way down to 2nd gear from 6th. The car does want to step the rear out here, so you've got to be really careful. You've got to be comfortable just sliding it a little bit as you approach the corner. But then you've got to arrest that slide, stop the slide before you turn into the right, otherwise you won't get optimal grip. And then because the camber kind of drops away from you, you've got to be very careful on the throttle to not run too wide, otherwise you won't be able to go flat through this left-hander. If you get the line right, it's easy flat through here. And then just into the final chicane, really, of the track. You want to turn in early, brake just before this curb, and cut the corner just a little bit on the grass, just to try and open up the right-hander. Again, gently on the brakes over here, because otherwise the car will bottom out if you're too hard. Then you just want to take a tight enough line that you can go flat out on the exit without running wide, because there's quite a vicious curb here. If you hit it too early, didn't really demonstrate it very well there, but at high speed it's pretty brutal. But yeah, that's the lap heading up to the line. It's a particularly difficult track to string everything together, but hopefully that all helps. Hopefully you can do a better lap time yourself. So there we are. That was a lap guide in the Honda Civic Type R at VIR for the Touring Car Challenge in week 12. There's many more to come from Coach Dave and all the coaches themselves. I've produced several lap guides myself, so feel free to check them out on the Coach Dave Academy YouTube channel. But for now, that's all from me, so I'll see you next time.